to Between a Hot Mess and a Therapist, your not so typical self-help podcast for therapists, healers, and helpers. I'm your host, Shauna Lovin, a seasoned therapist with a rebellious spirit. This season, we are redefining freedom, fulfillment, and stability without burning out, self-doubt, or playing by the rules of a broken system. We are cutting through the noise and exploring what it means to truly live life on your terms, not by what society expects of us. No more chasing an illusion of success that leaves you drained, because we are embracing the beautiful messiness, the sometimes chaotic journey we call life. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of Between a Hot Mess and a Therapist. Have you ever wondered what it actually looks like and how it works when you are still becoming and you hold space for other people? Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. So if you're actually listening to this episode today, I'm going to assume two things about you. You're either a mom, you're a therapist, or maybe you're both. Maybe you're mothering your clients, your inner child, a business, or even the community. Or maybe you're just trying to hold your shit together long enough so that you can feel you again. And either way, this one's going to be for you today. I wanted to make this Mother's Day episode so that it wasn't about brunch and flowers and the world's best mom mugs, even though those are cute and I like those and I still use mine. But I wanted it to be more like the things we don't talk about, not the watered down version of motherhood, because if you know me, that really never fit me in the first place, and it probably doesn't fit you if you're here. So here it is. This is an ode to the ones who are doing the deep inner work and cutting the crust off the sandwiches. The ones who are anchoring others while trying to not lose themselves in the process. The ones who are holding space for breakdowns when you are professionally at work, and then you go home, hold it together. You're holding them, you're unpaid, and you're unseen. So let's talk about the margins. Let's start there. That's a good place. Motherhood didn't just change me. It split me open. Because I look at that there was the before and then there is an after. And there's a now that there's this constantly shifting version of me in the middle. So who's still trying to remember that person that they were before or the whole person that they were before? I know I do. And I can't find her. Being a mom and a therapist means that you often don't get to have one role without bleeding into the other. This goes back to that work-life blend or work-life balance that we can't achieve. You're sitting with your client's trauma, and while you're wondering, did you remember to pack your kids' lunch for the field trip? You're leading a parent session while replaying the argument you had with your teenager that morning. You're regulating someone else's nervous system while your own is running on fumes. And let's not even get started on internalizing the shame of maybe not being calm enough or not being available enough or not being together enough. Because you know what? Society doesn't expect you to be a mother. They want you to be that person that puts a smile on your face while you're working. They want you to never be tired and resentful and always look fresh. Yeah, fuck that. That is not a version of me and never has been. She does not exist and she probably never will exist. Just saying. But people don't talk about like the labor that goes into being a mother. This is not the birthing labor, even though that was hard too. But I'm talking about the emotional, invisible, and relentless kind that comes from always being in the on mode. The sacred space or the sacred rage that is like you need a minute to yourself, but yet they follow you to the bathroom. Or they ask you a zillion questions in a row, even though you've already given them the answer. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the guilt of loving your work and resenting how much of you it requires. The shame of knowing all the parenting theories, but still lose your cool when your kids ask you for the same damn snack 47 times in a row. Yeah, we can normalize that, but the paradox of knowing what's right and what to do, but it's also about how are we being human. I am tired of pretending of being like a therapist makes me better. So I just don't. Sometimes it's hard because I know too much, because I see too much, and because I can't unlearn all the trauma, development, and attachment theories, especially when I screwed up my own damn kids and I have to sit with that shit in the mirror. Yes. Yes, me too. So here's what I do know, and this is what I have learned. Repair can be holy. Modeling imperfection is medicine. And mothering is not about getting it right. It's about staying in the relationship, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I know you may have that one kid where they're going through that phase and it's just hard. Stick with it. Just stick with it. So one thing that does come up and that we don't talk enough about is like, I used to know who I was. I had my degrees. I have my license. Yes, I have my calendar full of stuff. I was a healer. I was a helper, and I am a professional. Yes, I know these things about me. But I became a mom, and then suddenly nothing made sense anymore. Nothing made sense the same way. There was like this identity loss that nobody even fucking talks about. It's like mourning your time, your body, your independence, and your capacity. And for therapists, let's add the pressure of holding the space for others while quietly unraveling ourselves. And we're like losing our shit inside. This is like that space where after you had the baby and you have postpartum happening, that's that. This is kind of like you shifted in your sense of identity, your authority, your self-worth, your regulation shifts after you become a mother. And nobody fucking talks about that. It took me a long time to realize that motherhood did not take my power. It just made me realize that I needed to rewire it. I had to get slower. I had to get softer. I had to get savvier. And I had to be less concerned about the performance and more concerned about being present. So this is the part where I get honest, like that deep bone honesty. I don't do it all because I can't. I don't want to do it all, to be honest. I am not the Pinterest mom. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. to meditate before my kids get up. I don't pack organic bento boxes and run a home that looks like a therapy office. And you know what? I've stopped feeling bad about that because my kids don't need a perfect mom. They need me. Present, messy, accountable, and growing. Willing to say that I got it wrong, willing to come back and repair it, willing to rest so that I don't bleed resentment into their lives, just the same way I do for my clients. They don't need a therapist who looks like they're the Walking Psychology Today article. They don't need that button-up person. They need someone who's human, who's honest, who's real. Someone who knows when to say, yeah, I've been there and I've done that too. So if you're listening to this, you're here because I know you resonate with a lot of the things that we talk about here. You are the sleep-deprived, soul-stretching, identity-melting work of mothering and holding space. I just want to say, I see you. You're not failing. You're not too much. You're not broken. You are becoming. The work is hard, not because you're doing it wrong, because nobody gave us a manual to this motherhood shit. It's because you're doing too much. Okay? Don't do too much. And if you're giving so much of yourself to everyone else, you've probably been doing it for years. It's time for you to take some of that back. So this episode is your mirror. I want you to exhale. This is your permission slip. I want you to take up space. I want you to ask for support. I want you to honor your own healing as it's sacred and non-negotiable. This is to be the therapist and the mother, the messy, magical human underneath it all. This is who I want you to be. You're doing better than you think. You are allowed to make things easy. And you're not doing this alone. But I see you. Happy Mother's Day, Rebel. Until next time. There you have it, my friends. Another episode in the books. Remember, it's okay to be a hot mess sometimes. It's all a part of the journey we call life. Until next time, stay rebellious, stay authentic, and keep embracing the beautiful messiness of life. Want to learn more about your unique energetic blueprint? Make sure you download your free chart and learn how it can help you make choices that are aligned with who you are and not who society expects you to be. Please visit shauna11lpcs.com for more information. Anything mentioned in today's episode will be linked in the show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe, you share with a friend, leave a review, and keep coming back for more.